Yogis, welcome to your Maya Align, Brahma Be. Brahma is the Sanskrit god of creation. And so when we work with Brahma, we are working with that creative part within us. And you know, when you're in that process of creation, you feel as though you're bringing something to life. You're birthing something. And it can be birthing an idea from the mind. It can be birthing a feeling. And we feel when we're birthing these feelings and ideas, a seed within us that is growing, it is evolving, it tends to evolve and change throughout the process of creation. And creation is such a beautiful, wonderful, magical feeling to be in. And Brahma is just that. Now, the Vedic texts teach us that, and there's a couple of different theories as to Brahma's his origins, but one of those that I like best is that Brahma was birthed from the navel of Vishnu on the bed of a lotus, and we'll be working with Lotus today for our peak posture. We're aiming for a Padmasana Mayurasana, which is an arm balance, but we need to get nice and warm for that. So we're going to build a little bit of heat. Today's practice, it'll benefit you if you have 2 blocks to elevate and give you a bit of height. So if you don't already have your 2 blocks, please hit pause now, go and grab them. And otherwise, let's set them at the top of the mat and begin creating some warmth. Begin creating some mobility and begin creating some spaciousness through our pelvis, through our shoulders, through our chest. We're going to be dropping in at the back of our mat today to begin. Closed knee to start off with, and just take a walk down, settling into a child's pose, opening through the back body and placing the forehead upon the mat. As you inhale, we'll draw the gaze to rise, sending it to the front of the room. As you exhale, sink on in and down towards the mat, maybe finding some more length and space through those arms. We'll take that twice more, deepening the breath. Exhale, release and soften in. Inhale, rippling the spine to open. Open the throat, gazing front of the room. Exhale, bowing down, forehead towards the mat. Creating some movement through our gentle warm-up flow with breath today. And now as we inhale, we draw to our tabletop position. Sink the belly, take a breath. And as you exhale, we draw all the way back into that seat, forehead back to the knee. Twice more, yogis, ripple the spine, draw the chin through center. Inhale, take the gaze to the sky. As you exhale, sink it all the way back, hips to heels. One more breath and sink that belly nice and low. Opening through the chest as you find your gaze to the top. And as you exhale, active arms, reaching those fingertips towards the front of the room, curling in and down, opening through the back body. And creation tends to come in 3s. So we're working with the numerology of 3 today. 3 rounds, 3 breaths, and 3, variations through our postures. 3 coughs through tabletop. We're now going to begin opening the pelvis, sinking down nice and low, taking it slow. Take the gaze to the sky, draw the shoulders back. Melting the belly down towards the mat, opening the hips. As you send it back, we're sending it back through table, all the way back to our seat in our Balasana. Twice more, yogis. Take it slow, elongating the inhale. Exhale here as you sink down and open the chest. Slowly sending it back through that tabletop. Slowly sinking the hips back to the heels. And yogis, this time as we inhale and draw through center and take a pause here, We're going to find a gentle little rock and roll across, loading into the wrists and feeling the weight of our body supported by one hand, one shoulder, and then the other. Maybe finding a figure 8 here. And as you get playful and creative with your circles, your cycles, we're going to be taking this back and doing the same thing with the lower body in a moment. Enjoy one more breath and explore it all. Settle into stillness. We're going to tuck the toes from here. Release the knees. Release the hips from the mat, finding yourself floating in a cobra. Slowly transition through plank and take your hips all the way back, embedding the heels back towards the mat and planting them like a seed as you find your first down dog. And same deal here, taking that little rock and roll and through the pelvis, maybe lifting one foot, one leg at a time, getting a little creative and playful through your postures. One more breath, sink it into the heels. From here, putting that all together, yogis, we inhale, take the hips high, heels high, then hips high, drawing through. Melt the pelvis, open the chest, the heart. Release onto the tops of the feet from here. Knees connect, hips connect. We draw back through that tabletop and sink it back to the heels, your balasana, where you begun. 3 postures, putting them all together, 3 breaths, 3 rounds to invite your warm-up. I'm already getting a little warm, so strip the jumpers if you have a few layers on like me today. And let's put that together 3 rounds. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, melt the pelvis, open the heart. And press into the hands, open the chest, release the knees. Slowly tuck the toes, floating through your plank pose. Take it all the way back to the down dog. Inhale, heels high, hips high. Draw through your plank pose. Open the heart, the hips. Release the toes from your up dog. Drop the knees. Sink it back via tabletop to your balasana. I'm going to crank the tunes as we take that twice more through. Feel free to lift the tunes, lift the vibes your end too. Let's ripple and rise. Exhale. Melt the pelvis. Compress, tuck the toes. Plank pose, send it back, hips high, down dog. Inhale, take that ripple. Exhale, lower, release. Drop and send it back. Once more, yogis. Working with your breath. And bringing it home. We meet back in our balasana. Slowly slide it on back, your hero's pose, back of the mat. Take a roll of the shoulders. Sweep the sky, inhale. Connecting fingertips, open the palms with that interlacing. Then release. Hands into prayer heart center. With the shoulders a little warmer, the body a little warmer, we find our Padmasana mudra at heart center. We connect the pinky finger and the thumbs and connect that meaty part of the hands at the base and open and extend those fingertips. Embed your lotus into your heart. Close down the eyes. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, soften the shoulders. Setting an intention for yourself for practice today. Allow it to be a creative one. Allow it to be, as you deepen your breath, a sensation of planting that seed of your lotus at your navel today. Expand the belly. Take one more breath. An area or space in your life where you feel a little stagnant and you needs a little bit of that creative energy of Brahma today. And yogis, let's blink open the eyes and send our lotus to the sky. Inhale. Release it. We're going to take it out of the hips, out of the heels, and send the legs to extend. We'll take a little walk towards the top end of the mat and find those blocks beside the side body. Active legs here, finding a contraction through the entire length, and we'll find a staff pose. Keeping those blocks nice and handy. I like to take them to the lowest point and have them nice and close to the hips. Let's sweep the sky, inhale, and draw your staff pose to assist you to lengthen out the spine. As you exhale, we'll take 3 ripples to draw forwards in our forward fold to begin opening through the back body. First one's probably going to feel a little tight, releasing through those hamstrings. We ripple the spine, extend to the sky, maybe take the gaze with you this time. Exhale, actively pouring forwards the entire length of your exhale. Slowly sliding it beside the body once more. Inhale, elongate. Exhale, pour it forwards. Inhale, draw to rise. We'll elongate one final time and then take the hands nice and wide and find them connecting to those blocks or whatever assistance you have today beside you. So you might be using books. Keep it nice and close. We're going to press into those and just bring the hips to rise a little. You might find the pelvis just floating off the mat. Sink it back down. We're going to point the toes, take a walk off the blocks. Fingertips still pointing forwards. With the toes pointed, we're going to draw into a nice long line for your bridge pose, lifting the hips. Maybe finding the feet touching the mat, the toes touching the mat. Hang the head, open through the throat. Exhale, find your seat. Sweep it high. Exhale, pour forwards your Padmasana. One breath here. Inhale, release. And take it high. Send the hands wide. Fingertips plant the blocks. And this time we walk the soles of the feet in and set them up shoulder width apart. We're going to press into these blocks into the palms of your hands and draw into a full bridge pose now. The knees stay at that 90-degree bend, and I've already realized I need to walk my feet out just a touch. So when we draw to rise, you're looking for that 90-degree bend at the knees. So we're lifting the hips, aiming for a 90-degree bend at both the shoulders and the knees. So make any little adjustments you need. And once you settle in here, we'll stay for 3 breaths, actively drawing the pelvis to open, hanging the head heavy if that feels comfortable for you. We stay active through both the feet and the hands, and you'll notice if you soften in, you'll be drawing down and hanging the rib cage, and you'll be taking your shoulders into a lurched position. We want to encourage them to open. Stay for 1 more breath. Let's exhale, slowly melt it back, hips to meet the mat. Release the hands, take a breath. Exhale, pour it forwards, Padmasana. Should be feeling a little looser now. Inhale. Release it, sides of the room. And plant the hands, draw up, bridge 1 breath now. Hang the head nice and heavy. Exhale, sink it back to your seat. Sweep it high, your staff pose. Exhale, pour it forwards, your Padmasana. And 3rd and final time through our 3 rounds here, working with our 3 postures, getting creative to birth a little series, a sequence, a flow. Inhale, open, hang the head. Exhale, take the hips back, find your seat. Staff pose, your transition. Your Padmasana. Inhale, take it to the sky. Exhale, release. So beautiful. Releasing through the neck, the shoulders. Yogis, we're going to take this into our first Padmasana now, our lotus with our legs. We found our first lotus, our second lotus. Take those blocks off to the side just a little, and we'll draw this right sole of the foot in initially just to the inner thigh of that left. From here, checking in with that release of that right knee, and feel free to place that block under the right knee for a little bit of support. Otherwise, it's okay to have it floating a little to work with gravity, because we really want to be opening these hips. We're going to take it into a staff pose variation as you open, and we'll draw this into a spinal twist. First open, and as you gaze towards the back of the room, we'll take an internal rotation of that left and draw down to assist you using part of yourself to connect to another part of yourself, to create a circuit, to create a bond, to find a yoking and a union for the posture, upper body to lower body. Release that bind. Inhale, draw to rise. We'll turn it into a closed twist now. Same, we just spin at the center point. Open up and release down with that internal rotation. Now right hand to run along the length of that left leg. Create your union, and it might be through the calf, the ankle, or the outer blade as you take the gaze over the left hand now. Inhale, sweep the sky. We'll take that twice more, feeling into your breath. Open it up, spinal twist. And sweep the sky, rotate at the core. Exhale, sink it down deep in that rotation. One final time. Feeling into the fluidity of your twist. And feeling into the mobility of your spine. Beautiful. Let's draw up to that center point. Exhale, release, and we'll take that right foot now into a baby cradle. So we want to lift the foot and take the outer blade to nestle it into the elbow, that crease on the arm, and then take a little rock and roll through that hip. And when I say little, keep sitting on my cord. When I say little, you can get really quite aggressive with this one and really awaken those muscles of the back of that right hip. If you're too gentle with this one, then you don't get the full effect. So we want to eventually be working and inviting this right foot and knee all the way across as we're finding a half Padmasana next. Let's settle in here, and we'll be guiding now that outer blade to settle into that crease of the left leg. Now you're aiming for that crease. If it's not quite there yet and it's halfway up the thigh, then that's cool too. It's your variation. We're working to eventually find it nice and high. Once more, checking in with that external rotation of the right knee. Notice whether it's comfortably hanging there. And if you've got any knee problems, you might want to back it off a little, or take that block and offer a little bit of support, and that feels really nice too. You find when you're able to offer support, you can settle in and find balance. If that's too comfortable, remove the block and allow that leg to drape. All right, from here, let's take an inhale and draw to rise back to our transitional staff pose. We exhale, pour forwards over that Padmasana. Inhale, sweep the sky. And we'll take our open twist, sliding down and taking maybe the inner blade of that left foot with your left hand, drawing into that beautiful rotation. We stay here for a breath. Inhale, create some length through the spine. As you exhale, we're going to take an internal rotation of the right hand now too. Sweep it to your low back and just take a little walk, maybe accessing a connection, a bind now on that right foot. So I like to take a pistol style grip to that big toe to deepen that twist. As you open the right shoulder, taking your final breath, and we deepen the twist here. We're able to create more space using these binds. Let's release. Shoot the right arm to the back of the room, drawing it back overhead. Square it off, and we're going to take the hands down now to those blocks, keeping them beside the body. And just as we did before in our table pose, we're going to be finding our bridge with our half Padmasana. So we're going to draw that sole of the left foot to the mat, press our hands into the blocks to give us that little bit of height. And you're going to be rocking through and finding a bridge. Now, instinctively, you're going to want to drop that right side. And we are playing and getting creative there as well. But initially, try to work to keep the hips squared off. Try to work to find that same position you had before. With our 3 breaths, we drop down and find a beautiful big side stretch through that right side body. And you can settle yourself all the way down to a seat. Find any further little adjustments there, as this is a really comfortable position to deepen your Padmasana. We'll inhale and release back up and find a bridge. Twice more. Exhale, open, tapping down, maybe just floating this time. Connecting that right knee to the mat. Take it back up to your bridge, pressing actively left leg, maybe hang the head. Final time, exhale, sink into your half Padmasana. Feel that stretch all the way through to the armpit on the right. Let's draw it back up. And from here, take an extension, drawing it out towards the end of the room. Take it nice and high. And we'll release all the way down. Long line now through that right leg. Release your wrists. Draw that left sole of the foot in. Allow it to meet the inner thigh of the right. We're back to where we begun, taking it to the other side. And from here, hips squared off, shoulders squared off. Take the hands high, inhale, rise. Exhale, pour it forwards. Adho Paschimottanasana. Beautiful. Inhale, ripple the spine. And send the hands to the sky. Let's take that one twice more. Exhale, offering those hands forward, deepening and drawing the belly and the rib cage towards that right thigh. One final time, keeping yourself squared off and centered. Exhale, we melt. Let's draw into that open twist as you inhale and take the hands to the sky. Left hand draws to the back of the room, right hand to the front of the room. Stay for a moment noticing the space that you have to create in. Internal rotation, right arm now, as you run it down the length of the leg, finding a resting spot on the calf, the ankle, or inner blade. Deepen that twist, gazing over the left arm. Let's release. Take it to the sky. Rotate and take your closed twist. Left arm draws forward. Right arm draws to the back of the room. Slide it on down, maybe finding a connection at the outer blade of that right foot. Peeling the right side of your heart open. Inhale, sweep the sky. Twice more in our spinal twist, using your body, using yourself to assist you to deepen the postures, to assist you to deepen your practice. Notice as you take these binds, it does create also restriction, which it gives us or provides us an extra little challenge for self. Final time here in your spinal twists. Enjoy them, settle into them, stay for just a breath. We'll return, wash it off, and we'll take our final closed twist here. Let's draw back to center. Release these shoulders. Baby cradle, left leg. We're looking for that outer blade to nestle into the elbow, supporting your shins, supporting your leg, and taking it for that gentle or not so gentle sway and swing across the body, encouraging that left knee and that left foot to come all the way across, knowing that we'll eventually be setting ourselves up in our half Padmasana. And take it a few times here and stay with that long, slow drawing breath. Maybe 3 or 4 rocks and rolls per inhale, 3 or 4 rocks and rolls per exhale. Let's settle into stillness, guiding that left outer blade maybe into that crease of the right thigh, or as close as possible for you. Hey, kitty cat. Opening that left knee and checking in and maybe gently inviting it down towards the mat, or supplying a little bit of support, maybe a wound or folded blanket beneath that left knee might feel good. Whatever's comfortable for you, but know that we're inviting an opening. We want that softening and that slow release. And yogis, from here, as you settle into stillness, maybe you release the meaty part of the buttocks from beneath your hips. We look to find length through the spine once more as we inhale and take it to the sky. And we'll find that Adha Paschimottanasana in a Padmasana. Exhale, pour forwards, maybe meeting and creating a connection, a bind, inner blade and outer blade of that foot. Let's take that twice more. Inhale, rise. Exhale, pour forwards. Inhale, draw to rise. And know that the higher you have that left foot, the better. Adjusting and resetting as you need and as you find extra spaciousness, as you create that extra space. This time as we inhale and open to rise, we're going to find that open twist. So we'll draw the left hand towards the back of the room, the right hand towards the front of the room. Internal rotation on that right arm as you draw down the inside of that right leg, meeting the calf, the ankle, or maybe the inner blade. And as you deepen the twist here, stay for a breath. On the exhale, internally rotate the left arm, feed it around to the lumbar spine, and take a walk with the hand, maybe finding that bind in your half Padmasana. A strap or a belt will be really handy if you're not quite there, but know that we're not here for that long. So even if you simply find the back of your leggings or your jumper to create that bind, the back of your hand can connect into your lumbar, into your side body to create that connection. We're just looking to create a connection. We're here for one more breath. Find length in the spine. As you exhale, deepen the twist. So beautiful. As you release the arms and draw back to center, we bring the blocks into play, and we'll take this tabletop in our half Padmasana to the other side. And pressing the hands into the blocks beside the hips to create some length and open through chest and shoulders. We're going to draw that right sole of the foot to the mat. Pressing into the hands, the sole of the right foot. We slowly lift and find our tabletop, watching that we keep that left hip still nice and high. Maybe open through the shoulders and hang the head. As you exhale, we're sinking down into a seat and connecting that left hip, that left thigh, to enjoy that side body stretch through the left. And as we inhale, draw back to rise. Squaring off the hips. 2 more breaths. Exhale, sink into your seat. Inhale, lift the hips, square it off. Maybe hanging the head. Exhale, melting into your seat. Inhale, square it off, releasing that Padmasana, extending that left leg. And taking it nice and high for a release. And as you slowly settle back into your seat, we find the left leg long. We find the right leg long. Shake out the legs, release through the wrists. Listening to your body and taking any counter postures that feel good for you. So beautiful. Yogi, slowly building and preparing ourselves for our Mayurasana. Now we're nearly there. We're going to take one more variation here in our seat before we flip over and feel into this arm balance. We're going to find a full Padmasana from here. Keep the blocks nice and handy. Sorry, Kitty, you can stay there. I'm going to draw to the front. So we've taken an Ardha Padmasana, one side, singular. Now we're going to just look at taking the two. Now it's whatever variation you can manage. So know that we're slowly working towards getting the outer blade of that foot into the crease of the leg. We slide it in just as you did before, and then we'll be taking that top one into the crease as well. We'll settle into that seat, find the spine nice and long, and take 3 breaths here. Now, as you settle into your Padmasana, know that just as we fold our arms one set way and we try to take the other way and it can feel a little awkward, our Ardha Padmasana is going to be exactly the same. Perfect world would be balanced and they'd both feel comfortable. And maybe today neither feel comfortable. But if this feels a little uncomfortable, prepare to find yourself getting more deeply into the posture when we flip and we are taking both sides. Take your final breath here, just noticing the sensation of this restriction, this bind, and it is a bind that we're creating with our legs. It's a lock. From this lock, final warm up for the upper body, we're going to be pressing into an arm balance here. Now, I like to add a little bit of extra height here because you find the higher the blocks. Just be careful if you have foamies though on the wrists because they're going to collapse quite easily. So if you have a foam block, you might choose to stay on the lowest point just for security and stability. If you've got the corkies, then trust yourself at that mid-height. You're going to keep the blocks beside the hips. Keep them nice and close to the body. We're going to be pressing into the blocks to lift your sit bones from the mat when you're ready. Take an inhale to prepare. Psych yourself up, creative energy. On the exhale, we press into the blocks. They're a little close for me. And draw to rise. You might find a little sway, a little swing. Sink back down into your seat. Oh, well done. Let's take that to the other side. Notice which leg you've placed on top. Release out. Maybe releasing the legs, releasing the knees, rolling the wrists. And we'll take it to the other side. So leading with the other leg. And this side always feels a little more awkward for me. And often you just naturally, even if you've never taken a Padmasana before, will naturally find our more comfortable side. Usually the second one's a little harder, but at least we know where we're going. Find your blocks, prepare. If that was really easy last round, then feel free to take it a little higher. It's going to be harder on the shoulders, require more strength, but get creative, give it a go. Take an inhale, prepare. Exhale, draw to rise. A little close again for me. Finding the strength through the upper body. Slowly lower it down or splat like me. Yogi's blocks. Place them at the top. Slowly release your legs. Upper body prepared, nice and warm. Lower body, you've found that lock. Release the legs. Let's do this. Peak posture. Now know that it is super creative. It's a traditional yoga pose, so it's not a super creative pose, but it requires a lot of creative energy. So your Padmasana, your full Padmasana where we've been, we're going there again. Difference being we're now going to be over the top and finding ourselves in an arm balance. So I know you're probably laughing at home, but stay with me on this creative energy and let's give it a go. Kitty, you're so in my way. Thank you, darling. I like to get into it from a seat. So you'll find your comfortable side, whatever's most comfortable for you in your Padmasana. Take that now, set yourself up. From there, we want to be rolling over the knees. And I like to use blocks to give us a little bit of height as well. From here, you'll want the blocks shoulder width apart, or if you're taking hands on the mat, then have them shoulder width apart. Hands are nice and wide. You take the elbows back like chaturanga, and you'll be drawing the elbows inward. So we're opening up the front of the elbow and nestling those elbows into your belly as you draw forwards and find, the lift. Sink back into your seat. Now you may not have got a lift. You might have got a little tiny float. We're going with 3 goes. If you want to switch the legs and explore the other side, then do that now. And I'm going to take that to the other side for myself to try and find some balance. And we'll explore with our second go. It's a challenging posture. It's an intermediate to advanced posture. It requires your range of motion, flexibility, strength, but a lot of creative energy and stamina. So channel your inner Brahma, draw forwards, and feel free to either take the blocks, or maybe this time you explore without the blocks. Hands are on the mat. Keep them shoulder width apart or a little closer. Spread the hands, the fingers. Draw the elbows back in. Create that connection. Draw forwards. And find maybe a little bit of a lift. I got none that side. Sink back into your seat. Let's take it once more. Staying on that side or drawing to the opposing side. And I love taking and exploring these postures that ignite or have us meeting our ego, because we can get so frustrated and fired up when we can't quite master a pose. The point is never the pose, the point is the journey. As you take your final time, final side, I want you to elongate the spine, draw a deep breath in, and come back to that intention that you set at the start of your class. When things are frustrating, when things are challenging, can you get a little creative? Can you soften? Can you be kind to yourself? Can you laugh in those heavy moments? Let's roll over, draw forwards from your Padmasana. We'll take our Mayurasana. Hands are in nice and close. Draw the elbows in, tilt the body. Take a little rotation with the hands if that feels better. And maybe you find height and flight for just a moment. Sink back into your seat wherever you are, whatever you found today. Extend the legs, shake them out. Take a big sigh of relief, knowing that you made it. Yogis, those 2 blocks that you have, we're going to be using both of those today. One upon the pelvis and one to open the rib cage. Set the rib cage one up in back of the mat, finding it long. Keep that other one nice and close in preparation to set for the pelvis. We'll draw back into the elbows and find the hands upon the block beneath you, allowing you to set yourself up to open the chest. Hang the head nice and heavy, and we'll hang here for 3 breaths. Preparing to move. Draw the soles of the feet in. And you want that block right at the top of the thoracic for this one. And press into the soles of the feet, lift the hips, and allow that second block to run now across the mat. So you have 1 block up and down the mat, 1 block across the mat, head draped, throat open. And from there, if it feels okay, extend the legs. And that block beneath the pelvis, you want just supporting the sacral plate. And that block beneath the thoracic, you want up in alignment with the rib cage. If this is a little much for your head, for your throat, provide some support. And it might be something as simple as taking the hands behind the head, allowing the head to float, or maybe folding a blanket, resting a bolster beneath the head. Otherwise, we're inviting that opening today. You might draw the soles of the feet together and open the hips, open the knees. Making any final little adjustments, and we're only here for 3 breaths before we find our Savasana. Settle in and create stillness. Create a deeper inhale. Create a longer exhale. 2 final breaths, yogis. Noticing what energy comes up for you in your posture. Noticing the sensations that arise. Final breath. I'm always drawn in these difficult postures to a quote that's one of my most favorite quotes of late. Yoga is not hard, but it is going to show us the parts of us that are. Slowly draw the knees together. Notice which parts of you showed up today, hard and firm. For they're the parts of us that could use some creative energy. Let's press into the soles of the feet, release out of that block from beneath the pelvis. Settle the hips, extend the legs. Take a moment here, chest and heart open. Sigh it out. Press into the elbows, draw the chin into the chest, slowly releasing that block from beneath your thoracic. And draw back, find the body nice and long. Releasing the head, releasing the backs of the hands as you find your corpse pose, your Savasana. The more time spent in a posture, the deeper the benefit, the greater the release, and the more accessible that creative energy. Yogis, if you have the benefit of time at home, please stay and explore your creative energy. Hit pause and stay for as long as you possibly can. Otherwise, bring some movement to the fingers, to the toes. Find an extension of the arms overhead. Find the big toes together to touch. Let's draw the soles of the feet in today and take a roll to your favorite side, drawing into a nice deep hug. And pressing into the mat. We draw to rise. And finding a comfortable seat, and maybe you find a Sukhasana, or maybe you're feeling into that Dharma of today of Brahma, and you want to be in your Lotus, your Padmasana, for just a while longer. Whatever seat you choose, settle in, get comfortable, and find your Lotus Mudra. Pinky fingers connect, thumbs connect, base of the hands connect, 3 points of connection and contact. Settle your lotus into your chest. Take a deep inhale, find length through the spine. And as you exhale, draw the chin down to the chest and extend and expel that breath into your lotus, allowing it to be pranic energy, life force, allowing your lotus to blossom, allowing your seed of intention to blossom as you take it to the sky. Release the lotus, sweep the hands wide, and we close out in prayer. Yogis, thank you so much for sharing your creative energy today, that energy of Brahma, as you settle into your seat and let it be. Let Brahma be. Namaste.